Hey guys, welcome to the Personal Finance. And today it's the first time we are going live, and hopefully I am audible. We have quite a few number of people for the channel that we have. We are around 5 to 6 people who are already viewing us right now. Thank you so much. And if you are watching the recorded session of this live stream, welcome to you as well. So, the first and foremost, thanks all. We have reached 1,000 subscribers, and I had a commitment made to myself that if we are 1,000 subscribers, we are going to go live with one of the retirement planning use case, right? Now, the reason also is that we wanted to ensure that many of you who can actually check and ask questions while we are filling this Excel that typically I keep sharing to my audience, right? Just a quick thing. Once you are watching this live, only subscribers can comment on this chat. So if you have your questions, you can drop your questions on the chat. Please subscribe before that, else you will not be able to put any messages to me. Okay. I hope that's clear. And so while I was browsing through the internet, I just got a request that can you please make a plan for one of the cases that one US returned couple who wanted to shift to Bangalore asked me that can you make one case for me. I said, okay, fine, why not, let's go live with your case. And here's the case, right? This is a retirement fire planning, basically a fire planning case that we are discussing right now. And my whole intention of doing this is for you to see that whether how to fill this Excel, right? That's the most important thing that I wanted you to take away from this video is how do we fill the Excel planning. And of course, on the as we discuss further, I can show you exactly on what the problems you might face during filling the Excel and why we have made this philosophy and things like that. I'm focusing only on the Excel, and of course, if time permits, we can definitely switch to Reddit, some of the Reddit questions as well that we keep getting. Okay. Thank you so much, Millionaire Millenist has just. I keep following you, by the way, Millionaire, that on Reddit, right? So thank you so much for being here. I think you go by the same name. So yeah, we'll go ahead. Just a quick thing about fire before we jump on to the case. Okay. Now lot of questions I keep getting, that what is fire, what is fat fire, and those things, right? So a traditional fire, as you can see, is an approach which promotes frugality to achieve early retirement. That means that whenever you're talking about fire, it promotes frugality, right? If you want to achieve an early retirement, you need to be frugal with your expenses, right? We need to be frugal with your mindset. That is the most important thing for about fire. But often I'm seeing a lot of discussions on the Fat Fire forum on Reddit that what is fat fire? Is a fat fire 10 crores, 20 crores? That is so wrong in thinking, right? Fat fire is for those envisioning a retirement filled with travel, fine dining, residing in high cost areas. Retire early with enough financial cushion to support a lifestyle of luxury and leisure. What the hell it means? It means simply that the person who was happy living with a 20,000 rupees a month suddenly plans a fire of 50,000 rupees per month, right? Per month. That person is heading for a fat fire, right? The fat fire itself, in my opinion, has no number in place, right? Whether it is 20 crores, 30 crores, 40 crores. If we talk about a Bollywood actor who is a retired actor who wants to go ahead and fire, for her or for him, the fat fire number will be totally different than for somebody, normal people like us will like, okay, 5 crores itself is a fat fire for me, or 6 crores itself is a fat fire for me, right? That number itself is quite challenging. So this, you cannot define a fire number, whether it's lean fire, coast fire, chubby fire, fat fire, whatever fire you want to call. One cannot define a number to it, because the number only comes in relation. So having put that out for us, I'm just jumping it to the case that we have received, right? A US returned couple, right? And now, thank you so much, Logic and Trolls, and Akshay Malkare. I hope I have responded to you guys for on the Excel sheet. If not, just put me an email. I'm live on email as well. I can drop an email to you right now. Okay. So thank you guys. And so the case here is, again, please don't get bogged down by these numbers. This is only and only to show you that this how to fill the Excel. That is all about it, right? It is nothing to do with what the numbers are, how huge the number are. It is not, right? It is not about that. It is just about how do you fill the Excel and the philosophies of how the Excel was made. Nothing short of that, right? So do not get into this number. अरे यार रवि तो हमेशा सिर्फ 3 करोड़ 4 करोड़ 2 करोड़ की बात करता है, ये तो मतलब he is only talking about those numbers. No, it's not like that. Okay. So the case that we have got, it's a real case that we have received, right? It's a received a case where this couple has shifted from US to India. Okay, they've been working from past 10 years in US, couple, right? 43 male and 40 female, and they have one kid, 10 years old. They don't plan to have another child, right? The current corpus that they have is 5.42 crores, right? And expenses is 1.2 lakhs per month. But they want me to check this this sort of expense, whether it is low, high, whatever that is, right? Their family income in India, they have already shifted, right? I get a lot and lots of messages on Reddit in almost like 220 cases is what I have done till now in terms of retirement planning, and most of them say, okay, I want to shift to India, right? I want to shift to India. What do I do? I said, okay, you know, it's better that you shift to India, then we have a conversation. That's a better way to do, in my view, than I plan to shift to India after 2 years or 3 years, because I would rather want to work with somebody who is planning to shift in next 6 months or 1 year. They have dropped the boots in US and they're just jumping in, right? So this is exactly what I wanted to have. They have already shifted to India. I already had a call with them, and this is the details I have got. And with the permission, I'm just putting this online, right? Their expense is 1.2 lakhs per month. Pretty frugal family, I would say, right? Their family income is 4.5 lakhs per month in hand post tax, right? That's the one. Quick question I have got: what do you think about the rapid price rise and quality of lifestyle inflation in India? I think the way people are getting rich and demanding more all the time, planning that. Yes. Now, rapid price increase and quality of living inflation in India. So let me just put that question so that people can see that question. So this is what Logics and Trolls asks us. The question is very right. There is a rapid price rise and quality of living inflation in India is increasing. Having said that, please, I want you to focus on one thing, which is frugal, right? If your lifestyle inflation is increasing, one cannot determine a fire number. A fire number is determined within the limits, right? That, okay, you are a little bit frugal, maybe 0.5% or 0.2% of the lifestyle inflation is increasing. That is why fire suits most, and I can't repeat it again. Fire suits most for an age group of 35 and above, or even better, 38 and above. Why I say so is because most of the 38 and above couple, or even a single person, know their expenses. For example, a 43 years old guy knows their expense very well. The only inflation they have to consider is the travel inflation and the health inflation, the most important health inflation, right? That is the only inflation that, if you're going ahead with a fire for a 30 years old guy, in my opinion, 30 years old couple, if you say 30, 31, newly married couple, right? It's very challenging for them to go ahead and put a number, because they have not seen the world yet, right? They're not seeing the expenses. For example, consider me, I'm 46 plus, right? For example, I've been tracking my expenses from so long, right? And I have not seen a lifestyle increase in because Once you're set 40 plus, right, your expenses won't increase too much. Everything will balance out. For example, kids expenses, you tend to eat less, and all of those things balance out, right? So that's why, if you're 38 plus, ideally 38 plus, quality of living inflation, frugality is something that you have to focus in mind. And rapid price increase, if you talk about rapid price increase, yes, the price increasing, but then mind you that you are also aging, right? As days progress. So in my view, what I have seen is there was a subscriber who had requested for a fire plan, and she was 53 years of age, right? And she has had left job for like 7 years, right? And she was asking for a fire plan. Of course, not fire. She was already retired. So I asked her that, okay, fine, let's plan a retirement for you, a better one, right? A better planning. So she was tracking her expense from, you will not believe, 12 years, right? 12 years, tracking expense for 12 years. And that, she was like, no, once, and she was a widow. So, once she lost her husband, her expenses came down drastically, is what she was saying. And kids' expenses were managed very well, education and all. Right. One more question, and I'll move to the Excel sheet. The question is that what about education, medical, and real estate inflation? Real estate inflation, as I said, if you're planning to have a home, well, uh, you have to work out on a fire plan. The Excel sheet should tell you. Education, it can be managed. If you have not watched my video about education corpus, I request you to please go ahead and watch. I've tracked it from 5-6 years, and the inflation is about 15%, right? Actually 6%, but then I consider in all my plans 15%. Almost of 200 plus planning that I have done. Uh, for about 130 plus, 150 plus, I don't remember exactly. I have planned for kids education, and there I have considered always 15% plus inflation. Okay, so that about it. Let's jump to our Excel sheet. And the Excel sheet is pretty simple. I think most of you know this Excel. If you are subscribers, you're able to comment, you would have seen this. Before that, my standard disclaimer that I always put to everyone: I am not a financial or an investment advisor, right? I only provide Excel models. The reason I do it personally for a lot of people is that because I gather a lot of data of many of my subscribers, I can guide you better, right? Better than probably an AI, because I also put an emotional touch to this entire planning, right? I do not believe in, for example, if you go to any platform, I don't want to name the platforms, but then if you want to go to any platform of mutual funds or anything, they give you an AI generated financial plan. Unless there is a emotional touch, a personal touch attached to it, unless they have not spoken to you, unless they have not found out the way you lead the life, unless they have not interviewed you and you have not interviewed them for about an hour, any financial plan will go in drain, right? I know all the 200 families that have made a financial plan, how they are, what their lifestyle is. I ask them, how and when they spent what money, what's the lifestyle goals, and things like that. For example, for the couple that I was mentioning before, right? I asked them what their financial goals are, and this is exactly how the financial planning begins. So the financial goals of the couple were very simple: retirement at the year 2028, kids graduation 2032, right? And kids post graduation reserve 2036 or 37, and world travel, preferably few with the kids. This is exactly what their demands were. I asked them marriage, they said no. I asked them dependents, they don't have any. I interviewed them for about 30 minutes, and I got all details that they had, right? No dependents, uh, no marriage reserve that they want. They don't want to leave a large legacy for the kids, but then of course, they want to plan for till 85, 90 years of age, right? That was exactly their request to me, and hence I chose them, saying that, okay, fine, you know what, good plan, frugal family. I love to make plans for anybody who's frugal, right? Because plans hold really good. So now coming to the fire financial independence plan. Okay, Now, I have been talking to you about this Excel sheet. This Excel I have just modified a little bit, and I'm going to put to all my subscribers this particular Excel. Uh, Now, this is the input sheet wherein we talk about the age of two kids only. I have considered here. Three kids. If you have a request, I can definitely make a sheet and send it to you. Age is your age. If the spouse is nearby age, it's fine. If the spouse is more than 4 or 5 years younger or elder, I would request you to consider your spouse age, right? Whoever is younger, right? That matters the most. Next is about equity and debt. I consider that, okay, if at 43 years of age, no problem. If you're still working for 4 or 5 years, I think we can consider equity as 60%, debt as 40%. Okay. uh, and in terms of taxation, I request you to consider the taxation that is modeled using some logic here. All else, you can definitely consider 30% tax, right, in the sheet. Equity tax, again, you can consider 30% flat, or you can consider moderate inflation. Market returns, I'm considering Monte Carlo simulation. And number of simulations, you can have 10,000, 1,000, 20,000, 40,000, whatever you want. You can have the inflation considered here, no problem. Okay. I've considered a Nifty. I'll consider Nifty. I'll change this to 9.5% Nifty. Okay. 9.5% Nifty pre-tax. Okay, my friends, it's pre-tax 9.5%, and I'm considering a 15% standard deviation. That only means that if you come and look at here, right, highest Nifty levels will be 38.9% and lowest will be minus 20%. That means the Nifty performance, the equity performance, will hover between 38.9% and minus 20%. It will hover around that, right? It's a large, huge variation. That's why I considered a standard deviation of 15%. A tip here for everyone is, the moment you go to any mutual fund, right? You go to Value Research or any of the, say, platforms, you get their standard deviation, right? A term standard deviation there. You can put that standard deviation here for the highest that you get, right? So I have taken 15% standard deviation for all the mutual funds here. And of course, I have taken debt funds growing at 6.5% pre-tax again. So when you consider post-tax, it will be 0.5% lower. And I've considered standard deviation as 0.7% because this doesn't vary much. And in this stream, this video, we'll be simulating only goal 1, which is retirement. Again, of course, I will show you goal 2 also, that how to proceed with goal 2, which is education in our sheet. Now, this is what is the typical sheet that I keep sharing to people. And this is, if you see here, I encourage every one of you, each one of you, I encourage that you need to have your expenses really carved out, as detailed as possible, right? For example, your EMIs, your rents, your expenditure of eating out, your house help, dependents, your clothings, utility bills, taxes. As long as you can divide this to a number of things which you have been tracking from a year or two, it helps, right? It helps in planning. And why does it help in planning? Only for the reason that some of these expenses will cease to exist after a few years. Of course, somebody will say some expenses will cease to exist, but other expenses will creep in. Yes, either they will creep in or they will increase, right? But my request to you, everyone, is that please ensure that you have the expenses broken down as much as possible, as much as you think is required. Okay. Now, row number 2 gives you the inflation. For example, 10% I have considered for rent. Please feel free to change any of these numbers. For example, I have considered 7% for grocery vegetables. Generally, vegetables and groceries are 7 to 8%. If you want to have exotic fruits, that's a different story altogether. But then think about it this way, right? Lifestyle inflation is a different number for different families, right? But if you look at governments, right, the way the government will control the inflation is they definitely don't want to have impact of inflation to the masses, right? So typical vegetables and groceries, unless you are eating farm fresh organic foods, it depends totally altogether, right? You can put 10-11% inflation in case that's your lifestyle, no problem, right? Eating out, 7% I have put for a age of 43. But then if it is say 35 years of age, I would say eating out expense will be inflation will be about 10-11%, right? House help or geriatric care, right? Geriatric care, as I mentioned to everyone, things may not be normal after a few years for all of us, right? We might be bedridden, we might require nursing care, we might require a lot of things. So even if you do not have house help right now, you might have to plan for geriatric care eventually, right? In case of after 55, 60, 65, 70, whatever, right? You have to consider that. Next is clothing provisions. I have considered all these things. So again, you can have a look at this detailed sheet, and so on and so forth I have put in, and the expense comes to about 11 lakh rupees, right? 11 lakh rupees is the expense annually for them, right? So this is the expense that I have considered. And again, kids schooling is considered in this. For example, if you check here, right, kids schooling I have considered only till 18 years of age, because graduation we will have a different plan for the graduation. Okay, now I've considered 12% increase in the school fees. That is something that I believe is ideal, right? Typically it happens, it roughly hovers around 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, even 15%. But again, if you guys feel that it should be higher, you change the numbers basis on the row number 2, the inflation basis on the row number 2. You will find your lifestyle inflation number. For example, I did this for my exercise. I'm tracking expenses from some past 2-3 years, and my lifestyle inflation comes to about to be 8.89% roughly, right? My inflation is 9%, right? Your inflation might be lower or higher, depends on you, right? For example, you might have seen rents, you might have seen lots of things. That is why you can compute your lifestyle inflation separately. Okay, now I have considered health insurance, ample health insurance for them. Their insurance was lower, so I recommended them to go higher on health insurance. 1 lakh rupees for health insurance for a 43 years old male and 40 years old female, 10 years old child. For a 1 lakh rupees health insurance divided into 2, they have 2 health insurances, close to about 1.2 crore rupees, right? That's the current health insurance. You have to ensure that every 4 to 5 years you are topping up that insurance, because aaj ka 1 crore jitna, for example, a typical kidney or a liver transplant is massive, 25-30 lakh rupees, right? But before that, of course, you will have to go ahead with the complete health checkup and things like that, and you will figure that out, right? Doctors will recommend, okay, this is a risk, that is a risk. Even better if you can go with a genetic test, costs about 12,000 rupees. Go ahead, get a genetic test for each of your family members, right? Whoever are dependent on you. You will figure out that what is the risk that they have, and basis that you can take a health insurance if you want. Okay, that's the ideal one, right? Next is term insurance. Term insurance is only till the point that you are attaining fire. The moment you attain fire, to hell with term insurance, just stop paying, right? And I'll tell you how to compute that as well. This is about the expense for goal 1. Okay, this is the goal 1 expenses. Now about salaries, they have 4.5 lakhs. They work. Both of them work, and combined salaries 4.5 lakh rupees. Again, as I mentioned, they have shifted to India already, right? They have shifted to India already. Okay. Now, if you talk about their salaries, I have considered for the first year, I have considered only 5 months salary, because I'm assuming I'm doing it today, so 5 more months till March. Then I have considered their salaries for about for about how many years? 5 years, right? So 2029, I have considered their salaries. Till 2029, I have considered the salaries. Okay, that's about the salary part of it. Now their goal was 2028 retirement, and we are not computing goal 2 right now. We're only computing goal 1, which is retirement, right? Now I have allocated 100% of their salaries. If you see goal 1, I have allocated 100% of their corpus of 5.2 crores onto their goal 1. This is basically, if I want to change here, I'll allocate 90% only on the goal 1, and remaining 10% I'll put on goal 2. But right now, let's say 100% I am putting on goal 1 and 0. each of their salaries for every year, I am allocating 100% of their salaries for goal 1. Okay, I'm allocating 100% of their salaries for goal 1, which is retirement. Fine, I hope it's clear. If not, please put a comment. You can only put a comment if you're a subscriber, so please subscribe if you're not subscribed by now. Okay, so now if you see, I have allocated 100% salaries. Now coming to goal 1, 1000 simulations. This is the sheet that I keep telling to my subscribers is the mother of all sheets. That means you can have a rebalancing here when you want. This considers taxes, fixed taxes, and long-term taxes. This considers a good amount of inflation, which we computed before in that previous sheet, right? We computed each inflation. That's where inflation comes from. And it rebalancing, of course. For example, here if you see, we began with 60% in equity. And here I have told, let me rebalance when the person is 48 years of age. I will rebalance to 50% equity and 50% debt. Okay, that is what exactly this sheet is. I don't think anybody can be more comprehensive than this. But again, I'm making a new model which will be even better, because the way I'm doing it is, for example, for the next 10 years, they will be going with a higher, a higher standard deviation. They can take risk. But what if they, after 10 years, they want to jump to a lower standard deviation? That's what I'm making right now. We will all have it soon, this Excel sheet, no problem at all. Okay. Now, if you see, I've considered long-term capital gain tax as 12.5% for 3 years. Every year I have increased 2.5%. I have complete faith in this government that they will come to 30% shortly. Okay. So in next 5, 10 years or 15 years, I'm sure we'll be giving 30% long-term capital gain tax. And fixed asset tax, if you talk about, because India is still developing, right? I would like to believe that the fixed asset tax is till at least 15 lakh rupees, right? That slab, they will be having a little bit of benefit there. And of course, for a 43 years old guy, we will be in next 17 years, he will be a senior citizen by definition, right? 60 plus or 65 plus, right? So there'll be tax benefit there. But however, I have not considered any of those things. I haven't considered any of those things right now. Okay. All I have considered is that these guys are, 43 and expenses, whatever we have mentioned, right? Now I'm going to run this. Sheet. Let us see what this gives to us. So I'm running 1000 simulations, and yes, we are done with 1000 simulations. And now let's see what this gives. Okay. Now, if you check the way this simulation has run, this has given a pretty interesting graph to us, which I call as a confidence graph, right? The expenses we have considered, the expenses will stay till 143 years, till the person is 143 years. Again, this is just for the sake of putting the number there, right? But this graph gives, let me increase, if you can't see the font, let me try to increase this font. Yeah. So if you check here, 100% confidence that this person, this corpus of complete 5.2 crores with 100% salaries invested for the next 5-6 years into goal 1, there's a 100% confidence that the amount will last till 75 years, till the person is 75 years, right? The confidence percentage is 100%, 99.8%. But having said that, I always recommend that we go ahead not with such an pessimistic view. We probably can go ahead with a view of, say, about 75% or even 70% view, because we are considering a huge standard deviation, which may or may not happen. Let me show you some very interesting thing here, right? Just have a look here. The 75% confidence, right? 75% confidence says that this particular corpus of 5.2 crores entirely will be available till 82 years. But the moment I change the standard deviation by, say, 12%, that means I have changed the standard deviation by 12%. Earlier it was 82 years for 75%. Let us run the goal one again and check what exactly we get. So we get the age has increased by almost like two years, right? 84, if you see here. Right? It comes to 84, almost 75%. Right? So this is what it matters for retirement, right? For now if you check, if you go with input, right? I have considered 9.5%, and I have considered 100% of salary put in into the goal one, right? If you check here. Now, how about goal two? Now, can this family retire with these expenses, with this salary, with a 5.25 crores, uh, 5.42 crores, sorry, corpus, right? With 60/40, with 9.5 and 12%. Yes, goal one they can, but they will not have any corpus left for goal two, which is education, right? And how do you fill goal two? You can fill goal two here, right? You can take education of kid, for example, at 19 years of age is what you would want to, or 18 years of age, what is that you want to fill for your for the child. Say today's value of 25 lakh rupees, or say today's value of 1 crore rupees, right? So if you plan for today's value of 1 crore rupees at once, actually not at once, let's say 25 lakh rupees for 4 years you are consistently spending on your child. So I am just taking an inflation here of let's take an inflation of this 10%, right? So I am just taking inflation of 10% here, and I am then taking the annual rate of this. So 25 lakhs today will be 53 lakhs, and I'm considering this completely for 4 years. So in next 4 years, right, cumulative, the person requires 2.5 crores if it's today's 1 crore, right? Of course, in 4 years, right? So you can allocate, the way you can do it is you can allocate this particular thing, right? So you say, okay, I will the initial corpus that I have, I'll only consider 80% of the corpus, and 20% I am going to put that in goal two, which is education. And here also, if you check, I will say, okay, fine, you know what? I'm going to put 70% of the corpus of salary into my goal one retirement, and I'm going to put 20% into my goal two. Okay, this is what you're going to do. Okay, and 10% is goal five. If not, leave it. Let's take 30% completely and say 30% salary. Now, if you run goal one again, right? If you run goal one with these assumptions, right? Sorry, goal one is done. Now it says that with around, it says about till 78 years, about 80% sort of confidence that it will work and things like that, right? It might, and again, goal two, more important, goal two, let's see. Goal two is running for about 1,000 simulations, and it says goal two till the person is 56 years of age, 92.9% confidence this will work. Okay. Now, if you check again that, if you check goal two here, for example, there is no expense here for about good 5, 6, 7 years, and goal two only comes here, and you can check how this goal two is working. Now, this is what I want to share to you in this streaming, right? So this is a modified sheet. In case if you don't have this sheet with you, you can go ahead and request this sheet, and I will share this with you maybe in next 1 or 2 days, right? A slight, I'm just trying to put in some custom messages out, and that's what you will also see a little better in terms of the Excel sheet. Okay, there are goal 3, there are goal 4, goal 5 as well. If you check this sheet, the goal 3 is basically appliances, cars, once in 8, 9, 10 years you want to buy a car, and vacations, you want to go for vacations, you want to go for custom goals that you have, anything like marriages, you can put marriages here in custom goals, whatever you want to have, right? So this is the exact sheet that I wanted to show you. Again, all my subscribers have a previous sheet that also works very fine, right? But in case if you want to have a revised version, you can have this. Again, there's a heat map sheet that I keep showing to my subscribers. Again, if you don't know this, you can go and go with the previous couple of videos, and it shows explanation of this, that how this heat map things work. The heat map basically means that SWR, right? What SWR should consider. For example, consider 80% confidence, 100%, so SWR 2%, right? 2%, somebody will say 2%, what, like, so pessimistic view you have. 85%, 2.2%. But in my view, SWR, if you consider SWR, if you have not seen my video of SWR, you can go ahead and check the video of SWR. I would say SWR ideal is about 2.5% for India, right? The 4% rule does not work in India. I think 2.5% reasonably will work for India. Okay, so that's about it for today. If you have any questions, you can drop in any questions that you have. I hope I have answered all the questions. There are a couple of questions that I Reddit keeps on throwing to us, right? I mean, a lot of things, like, for example, what is fat fire and things like that. I keep responding anonymously there in terms of the responses that some of you might really want to go and check responses by in my ID, right? Red8 ID. So now that's about it, guys. I hope you guys like this. I hope you got to know a little bit more about the retirement or fire planning using the Excel sheet that you already have. In case you don't have the Excel sheet, my request to you is please go ahead and request me on findia@gmail.com. And for the interested, we also provide free corporate training on personal finance, fire, retirement planning, weekends only for corporate, right? It's absolutely free because I cannot charge, right? So it's absolutely free. In case if you want corporate training for your company, I'm more than willing to give a free corporate training online to the corporate, anybody who wants, right? And thank you so much. Please, if you like the content, please support and subscribe. In case you want to feature on a case discussion on our channel, you can email us on findia@gmail.com. And thank you so much. Short streaming, it was the first trial that we had, and thank you so much. And I would really want you to think through this Excel, and I really want you to please spread this awareness of personal finance. In my view, this is extremely important. So that everyone, most of us, do get this sort of idea of financial freedom with the help of this Excel, of course, right? This Excel is something that is extremely important, right? Goals, be it planning of goals, be it planning of expenses and everything. One must be having such a detailed planning only if you're going ahead with fire planning. Okay, again, thank you so much. And this ends our really short video. In case you are late, please have a look at the recording session, right? It will really help others. Please ensure that you are sharing this video across. Excel is completely free. I do not charge. I strongly believe it's a criminal offense if anybody is charging for an Excel. It's very simple, guys. You yourself can make this Excel at home. It's not a rocket science. That's why I give it free, right? Only it matters is please hire a financial planner. That's the most important thing. Hire a financial planner, and they are the ones who can do justice, and they charge really less, right? So very small amount is what they charge, right? So thank you, and I hope this was useful to most of you. Thanks, Ankush. Thanks for the message. Thanks, Ankush. Thanks, Logics and Trolls. Thanks, Akshay. Thanks, Millennium Minimalist. Thanks a lot, and thanks everybody who has not commented. And we'll see you next Friday. In case if you want a similar streaming session, please do email me. You all have my email ID. Thank you, and bye-bye, and good night.